Hello and welcome to this special McAllen ISD Facebook Live. Today we are honoring our 2021 Campus Teachers of the Year. And we want to express our heartfelt appreciation to our esteemed colleagues, the men and women who every day make the difference with our students, whether they are in the classroom or not. Today is a very special day, and we want to make it special by honoring you here on National Teacher Appreciation Day. Let's begin with a special word from our superintendent, Dr. J.A. Gonzalez, and our school board president, Mr. Conrado Alvarado.
I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate all of this year's Teachers of the Year in McAllen ISD. What an honor it is for all of you to be here with us today, celebrating that you've been selected amongst the best with a group of teachers across the district that produce world-class results. Being selected as Teacher of the Year proves that your peers recognize the effort that you put in and day out. Being selected Teacher of the Year in McAllen ISD proves that you're amongst the best. And I want to thank you all and congratulate you all. Thank you for teaching your children with all your heart and soul. Thank you for the love that you provide our students day in and day out. Thank you for loving your students as if they were your own children, and for ensuring that every child, regardless of their background, regardless of their circumstances, receives a quality education.
Congratulations on winning Teacher of the Year. On behalf of McAllen ISD School Board, we just want to say thank you for all that you do, and to let you know this is a huge accomplishment. It's a huge accomplishment because we have some of the best teachers here in McAllen ISD across the state, and to be singled out by your campus is a tremendous, tremendous honor. Y'all, all teachers have worked hard during this pandemic. This year has been a challenging year, and we all risen together to answer the bell to meet all the challenges that have been presented. And for you to be singled out among all of us as Teacher of the Year is a tremendous, tremendous honor. I just want to say thank you again. You're making a long-lasting impact on the students that's going to be felt now and for many, many years down the road. The teachers that impacted me when I was a student here in McAllen ISD, I still remember them and all that they have done. So on behalf of everybody in the community, the school board, our superintendent, again, congratulations and best of luck. Thank you.
Our teachers inspire learning and empower children. We honor all our teachers when we spotlight the men and women who have been chosen by their peers to represent all of them. Let's begin now with our elementary campuses.
I feel grateful and proud because McAllen ISD gave me my first teaching job. I love teaching the children in the community, and the good thing about it is that it's a very small community here where we teach, and all these kids, I have seen them grow. My goal is for them to become a good citizens of the world, and for me to feel proud about them, because I have seen them since pre-K all the way to third. Some of them are already in high school, and it's a very nice experience. What I want them to do is to always be learners, to help other people, to help the world, their community, their state, their continent. They're going to be able to help everybody around. I'm trying to teach them to be risk takers, problem solvers, inquire about anything that they are investigating. And those are skills that they're going to be used for life. For any problem that they have, they're going to be able to take a risk on finding a solution. They're going to be able to inquire about it before. They're going to be able to be risk takers also by asking somebody else for help. Sometimes we just need to ask for help to solve our problems. McAllen ISD makes me feel like family everywhere I go. Everybody welcomes you from the moment you step outside your vehicle. When we work together, we're able to help every single one of our students. It's a great opportunity and a pleasure to be here.
I knew I wanted to be a librarian because I loved to read, but it wasn't until I got experience working with children that I saw that a lot of students really struggle in reading. Then once I was in the classroom teaching, I started making the connections that, sometimes students are taught how to read for the sake of reading, and they don't love to read. I want to continue in the career because I want to teach them how to read and I want to teach them how to love to read. And that is why I chose to be a teacher. One of the things that I am honored to be a part of in McAllen ISD is that we are not just offering a new way of distance learning, but we also create experiences that is going to take our students to a new level in their future, such as Tech Wars and Coachella, the experience of being able to tinker with different electronics in our maker spaces. We have devices to create. So I'm just so honored and so excited to be a part of that here at McAllen ISD because we are providing new opportunities for our students.
My teaching philosophy is that all children need to be nurtured, first of all, mind and soul, and that they are unique and they bring a wealth of knowledge. And as a teacher, my role is to guide and to lead by example. So teaching kind of grasps me by helping others to build those skills. When I first found out that I was Teacher of the Year, it was just excitement because you're thankful that other people see your hard work, first of all, and nervous because it's a great challenge to represent such a big school and we're striving for excellence. So when you get nominated, you have to have those shoes filled all the way to the top, It's not just like, okay, I got a Teacher of the Year, okay, that's great. No, you have to always strive for more. But, it's a big accomplishment overall. The most important thing as an educator is to nurture the child. They need to believe that somebody believes in them so they can become better individuals. Why McAllen ISD? It's a district that really takes care of their students. We are doing an excellent job by teaching the students and not only doing traditional, but going above and beyond. We were ahead of the game already.
Education is part of my family. My grandfather established a school in Reynosa, Tamaulipas. He was actually one of the first founders in Reynosa, so he was actually invited to initiate a school. My grandfather then passed on his tradition, his knowledge to my aunt, and from there it just became a family business. Education and the passion, we're in the heart business, and that's what my family has instilled in me. What I bring to my classroom is a fun, loving environment for my students. I am very passionate. I believe in what I do. I am part of the 21st century believers. Technology is something that I integrate in my lessons. And the one thing that I try to keep in mind the most is my students' mindset, especially this year. I mean, not only because of the year that we've had and the experiences, but because this is who I am. We're facing a new virtual world that we've had to introduce to our students. It's just, we have to be very tender with them and we have to realize that not one child is the same. This is something that I've always had as a priority in my classroom, respecting their feelings, having empathy for every situation. And again, it goes back to having a positive mindset, not only as an adult, but as an educator. My students are my priority. That's something that I embrace and that I look forward to see that in my own children, not only as a parent, but as a teacher. That's going to be a great accomplishment for me.
What made me decide to become a teacher is understanding the influence I can make on students on a day-to-day basis. A special moment that stands out where I made a difference is when I created a book tasting experience that had the ambiance of a country-style restaurant with classical music playing in the background. Students were engaged and excited for the experience of reading and the practice of the reading skills. Students were more receptive. And at the end, students reflected on their book tasting experience, and it really warmed my heart with the student responses. And one of the responses was, "Thank you, Ms. Maldonado, for making me feel so special." When I first found out that I got the Teacher of the Year, I was ecstatic. I was shocked. I wasn't expecting it. It was a lot of hard work all these years that I've put into education, and just to get the reward and the accolade of being recognized for Teacher of the Year, it just makes me feel great. In receiving this accolade, this shows that McAllen ISD cares about their teachers and considers us as family. They really care about the effort and the hard work we put in order to move our students forward.
I've always liked working with people. I always enjoyed helping the teachers out. I've had amazing teachers growing up, and I just always knew I wanted to work with people, help them, and I think just teaching just was my calling. And I haven't been wrong. I've enjoyed every year, every moment of it. I work with first grade, so they're always excited to learn new things. And so I love being a part of that, especially when they're like, oh, Ms. Gonzalez, I learned something. And they can't wait to share their experiences with you. And I love being a part of that. I want them to know that they're lifelong learners. They're always going to be learning, but to give back to the community and just to always just think of their own personal experiences and how they can maybe provide that for someone else in the community. So more than anything, if I were to see them in the community, I'd like to just know that they had that, that positive energy, that caring spirit, and that desire to give back to the community. I work with an amazing group of educators. And so it's kind of been hard to be like, what? It's like, I look at my colleagues and I'm like, they do an amazing job. They're just, giving it our all and trying our best. I'm proud to be a part of McAllen ISD. I know that our district has just been pushing forward through all the obstacles. So I'm definitely glad to be a part of that team that is just blazing through. Every experience has been wonderful.
I'm a product of McAllen ISD. I went to Wilson Elementary, Cathy Middle School, and Mac High, so go Bulldogs. And I love living in my community. I love serving the students, including my own children. My children come to McAllen ISD. So it is very important for me to give back in the way that I was given. I had such a great education here in terms of music and art and content areas. I learned so much, and it's my pleasure to be able to give back to the community that gave to me. As a teacher for early childhood, I'm almost like a second mother. So the way I treat my students is how I would want someone to treat my son, with respect, with love, with dignity. I do like to build relationships with my students so they know that Mrs. Spitia cares about me, I'm important, I'm valued, I'm seen, I'm heard. As a child, it's very important for them to have someone in their life that will accept them for who they are and respect them and also nurture them and help them to grow. The most important thing to me in the life of a child is their self-respect and also the respect that they share with other people. Interpersonal skills are very important. This is the greatest honor. I've wanted to be a teacher since I was 5. So to be recognized in this manner by my peers whom I love and respect so highly and I think so highly of is the ultimate. I'm very appreciative and I'm very honored to be considered Teacher of the Year for Bettis Elementary.
Initially, I thought there are teachers that are so much more deserving. I see the hard work that teachers do, and they're collaborating and they're working with the students and so much compassion. So to be thought of as the same level as that is just, I'm honored. I don't feel like I compare to the teachers, but I'm glad that they do recognize the support that I give and the teaching that I do. They feel like they can seek me out when they have issues and problems or need that support. And my principal too, she's very supportive of the library. I'm lucky to have a principal that supports the library and the librarian like that. I just feel like my job as a librarian and providing support really has opened my eyes to what these elementary teachers are doing. We're all looking out for each other. I feel like we're lifting each other up. We're showing what we know. I'm in the position to see that, and I'm just honored to have this position. I love my job, and I'm just lucky to be here.
What made me decide to become a teacher? That is actually a really neat story, one of my very favorites. When I was in first grade, I went to school and I found a little friend who was deaf and hard of hearing. She was completely deaf. And I played with her every recess time, and we played the entire time. I went home very excited. I went home, learned how to say, I love you, and friends. Came back the next day so excited to communicate with this child, and she wasn't there, and I never saw her again. And I wondered how that worked, why she wasn't there, what was going on. And from then on, I was interested and had a heart for and a calling for deaf education. Even after 29 years, I can't say that I feel called to do anything else. This is what I've wanted to do all of my life, is teach. And I enjoy doing what I love and am blessed to get to have done it for so long. McAllen was the only place that I actually applied to and interviewed to when I graduated from Texas Tech with a deaf ed degree. I looked at different schools, but this is where I felt called to be. I've worked here for, like I said, 29 years. I've raised my kids through McAllen ISD and been very pleased with the education that they've gotten there. My case is a little bit different with Regional School for the Deaf because we are regional. So McAllen serves students from other districts. And I think it is a very special thing that we can offer that here. And I think that's something that McAllen does well, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
Teachers have great power. We are very influential people in, the kids' lives. So I think it's so important for us to to bring the best of us. And I think like when you do something passionately, when you really love doing what you do, I think that's infectious, right? It's contagious. So it leads on to the kids wanting to do that too. And I think that's what happened to me. I wanted to catch on that bug that the teachers here at McAllen ISD have, that passion that everybody brings. It's just so tangible, it's overwhelming, the dedication that everybody's putting in. I'm just very blessed to be part of it. It's such a rewarding, it's such a fulfilling experience. This job, it's investing in the future, it's investing in changing society. So if you really want to make a change, I think, teaching is definitely a powerful career to do that. I think changing one class and their mindsets at a time is powerful enough to move a whole entire generation in a new direction. Something that really stands out for McAllen ISD is also the number of believers that I've encountered. And I think that's very powerful, that people with the right mindset and the right heart pouring into these kids, they're going to pick up way more than just what's in those books.
One of the things I always tell my kids is that I want to create a safe environment for them to know that it's okay to make mistakes, because we learn from our mistakes. And I mean, if we're making the same mistake over and over again, of course, yes, we're obviously not learning. I tell them, but ever since we're babies, that's the way we learn. We try things, we try new things. You have to have that positive mindset, open-minded. I'm going to try something. I might not be the best at it the first time around, but I will get better. And if you set your mind to something, you can accomplish it through hard work. And so creating that safe environment where they know that if I make a mistake, it's okay. I'm going to get up, dust myself off. I learned what worked well, what didn't work well, and go from there. And I tell them, I make mistakes all the time. Everybody makes mistakes. We learn from our mistakes. And so having that safe environment, I think, is very positive when we meet their social, emotional needs as well as their academic needs. Because if they don't feel safe, then they're not learning. I still have contact with some of the students, my first year students, because of my daughter, my oldest daughter. And she'll be like, so-and-so sent me a message on Twitter that they remembered something that you did in class one day. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they remembered that. But like I said, it goes back to making those connections for them, that they remember those things.
I have been teaching for 25 years. In fact, this year, at the end of this school year, I'll be completing my 25th year with McAllen ISD. It's been awesome. I did my student teaching back at Roosevelt Elementary, then headed on to Garza Elementary, and now I'm at Hendricks. And all those years I've been with McAllen, and every year I learn something new. To me, teaching is all based on self-esteem. I'm a big believer in taking that time at the beginning of the year to get to know students, get to know who they are as a child before going on into the academic scene. Making them realize they can achieve anything they set their mind to is a big part of my beginning of the year curriculum every single year. I just think you have to become, or to be a team leader, being able to be open-minded, having empathy and understanding for others' ideas, and just have fun, enjoy your job, have fun. I am very honored, and I feel really proud to have been hired here, given an opportunity, and now being able to be part of MISD. It's just, to me, like it was meant to be. Just made me realize, what we say every day, those little moments mean so much to some children. And when they reach out to me and they try to become my friends now, because it's been 25 years in the district, at least we do have an impact on them on a daily basis.
I love working for McAllen ISD. I love working with the musical staff here at the elementary division. I think we have amazing educators all over McAllen. We do so much work with the kids, and we see those things being shined, in our, elementary performances or district events, or whenever they just go to secondary and they're, doing very awesome in ensembles and in solos. And one thing I take pride in is the unity that we have, the accountability that we have working with one another. Because the only way that we can ever get our students to be star performers or just to even love music is when we unite together as a team in the child's foundation part of their lives. So I really thank God that I work with an amazing team. Having those supervisors above me really helps me feel loved, protected, and just all around just a healthy environment because of the leadership and because of the team that we have. That's why I choose McAllen over anywhere else.
A good educator works well with others, ensures that every single child learns in her classroom, and believes that with the right content, with the right engaging lesson, every single child will be a lifelong learner, which is what McAllen ISD is all about. You want them to learn to be good citizens. You want them to learn to be lifelong learners. I know that my 5th graders are ready for middle school. I know that my kindergartners are ready for first. My first for second, second for third. We make sure of that, all of us. During the pandemic, we took ownership. We made sure that every teacher had what they needed to teach, that every student had what they needed to learn, and also that parents knew how to help their children. And this is another example of how all of us working together can ensure children's success. When I first heard that I was nominated and that I got the Teacher of the Year for my campus, I just started crying because I feel in my heart that it was all of us working together that accomplished what we accomplished last year, and I am extremely proud to be part of this team. I love my district, I love my campus, I love my people. I'm super proud to be a librarian.
I'm about to finish my 9th year teaching. I wanted to become a teacher because I love children and I love to help. The relationship with the children is what I really wanted, and I wanted to be able to help these children learn and grow because I know growing up I was helped by many teachers, so I wanted to have that influence on them as well. I feel I make a difference almost every day. I have children who have all different types of needs, and with one child specifically, I remember him coming into class and saying that he wasn't smart enough, and that's something that no child should feel. When coming into my classroom, I try to teach them in a way that they can understand individually, and for them to feel that they are worthy and they are capable. That's where I feel I make the biggest difference because my heart is in it and they know that I care about them. There's things that are going on in each individual life of these children that we don't know about, and if we can get all of their needs met before then learning math and reading and science and social studies will come easy. McAllen is actually my home district. Growing up in McAllen and being able to go throughout my middle school years and my high school years in McAllen and then coming back to McAllen to teach, it's my home. I love it. I would encourage anybody to work here for McAllen because, again, it's one of the best districts in my personal opinion.
Some of the characteristics of Teacher of the Year, I definitely had to say number one is teamwork. Like, we have to be working as a team. I love working with my team. 2, communication. We always have to have that constant communication within our staff, within our administrators, even with students and the parents. Communication is very valuable as one of the characteristics. And I think the third one, being humble, because every day we can learn something and every day is a learning experience for everybody. If we're being open-minded and being humbled and willing to listen to everybody and listen to their opinions, I think that goes a long way. It really does. For my campus to pick me, it was just very humbling and I felt so heartfelt and warm inside, and I said, wow, I felt so excited. I wasn't expecting this. I really wasn't. To feel the love of my campus. I also want to spotlight the teachers in McAllen ISD for all their hard efforts as well. We have to recognize them and just thank you for this opportunity, honestly.
I was just born to teach. As a student myself, I remember just loving to help my friends, my classmates understand. My teachers would often use me as a peer tutor, and anything that they would allow me to do, grade papers, decorate, anything, it's just what I was born to do. I love coming in every day. I mean, just walking in the doors, that school smell that you get, seeing the kids, their smiling faces, the colorful walls. I absolutely love all of that. I get excited every day to see what's going to happen that day, what awaits, what's going to unfold. There we go. I'm very big on building confidence because regardless of what their situation is, if they are confident, they're going to succeed. So I'm very big in having those high expectations and building them up and building that confidence and making sure that they believe in themselves and they will carry that with them forever. I really appreciate McAllen ISD for recognizing all of the hard work that we're doing. It really means a lot to not only us who were nominated, but the entire staff. I know educators at many different schools and campuses, at central office, all have showed support in one way or another.
When I found out I was Teacher of the Year, I was both excited, happy, crying, disbelief, just because I believe everybody on our campus does so much day in and day out, above and beyond. And to get that recognition from your peers and from the staff is amazing. And it's good to hear, and it's good to feel, and to know the recognition. And I'm honored, and I'm proud, and I hope that I continue to be that role model that everybody saw and has seen. I feel a lot of it has to be with maybe being approachable, being that person, that teacher that, you know what, you're willing to continue to learn. You're willing to not get stuck in that rut about, learning something new. You have to be willing to make changes, to be flexible, to know that you're in it for the community. You're in it to serve the kids. You're in it for not you, you're in it for them. McAllen ISD provides us with plenty of resources and an abundance. Coordinators always reaching out, asking us how we're doing. The math instructional coaches, the reading coaches. We have so much help, so much people that we can depend on that allow us to help do it seamlessly. Make it so much support from everybody in the campus and in the district.
We went from being total face-to-face, contact sports, basketball, volleyball, some flag football, into complete and total remote, where I improvise with the kids. We have a lesson where we juggle scarves. Kids have never been so excited for juggling ever. And so they learned how to juggle using grocery bags. And I was able to show them that way. And so they've been able to find that their house is a playground. Their house is full of stuff, of course, with parental supervision. They're able to create their own physical education equipment. We've been able to make our own bean bags, and we've been able to create our own footballs with a sock, or we've been able to create our own volleyballs with plastic bags. Thank you to Coach Morales at Rayburn Elementary. Being a product of McAllen ISD, I've been able to see what McAllen ISD has to offer. So it's like I never left home being here in McAllen ISD. So I can't imagine working anywhere else. Thank you to all the teachers that were able to help me to be able to bring my program to what it is today. I'm glad to be a physical education teacher. I'm glad to shine light on the benefits and the necessity of physical education, and go Warriors!
I've been teaching for about 5 years already, and all those 5 years have been with McAllen ISD, and I'm in a program where they have a collaboration between the Hidalgo County Head Start program and McAllen ISD. I've always had that innate desire to make a difference in someone's life, even if it's in the smallest way possible. And being in education has been very rewarding to see the impact I've made at the end of every school year. Working for McAllen ISD has really provided me with an abundance of professional development. Now with this ongoing pandemic, they provided all the resources that we've needed to be successful in the classroom, providing the technology that the students need at home to be successful, not only with, here's an iPad, but here's a hotspot that you might need to be able to connect daily. I know a lot of districts don't have that, so McAllen ISD really was ahead of the game. We got to challenge ourselves. As an educator, we're always going to be lifelong learners. I feel like we need to always push ourselves, challenge ourselves. What is it that we can do to enhance not only our way of teaching, but also our students' education? It's a very good adventure. I love it. They've really made an investment in our education. It was a really good accomplishment being selected as Teacher of the Year this school year.
Every student can learn. They just learn different things, and they learn in different ways. So it's fun to create a different atmosphere or a different kind of lesson for each student. The most important part for me as an educator is that our students are happy. If they are happy with what they're learning, how they're learning, then my job is complete, because they will continue with that happiness for the rest of their life. I had a situation in my classroom where a student was being disrespectful toward me, and another student was watching my reaction. And from there, that student who was watching me was able to learn that anger is not a reaction to someone being disrespectful. There are other ways of reacting to how people treat you. And she still remembers that. She'll text me every once in a while. She says, I remember how you were that day, and it changed me. The biggest takeaway from that moment was to remind me the kids are watching us to see how we react and how we respond to different situations. So they look to us not just for content, but they look to us for life. How are we handling life is how they learn to handle life.
Something that I'm really that is a pillar in my classroom is being organized and showing them how to organize their notes and their binders and how to use their binders and their notes. Because if they keep it organized, they're going to be so much more successful. So I'm not just showing them like the history of Texas. I'm also showing them skills to become successful when they go to high school or especially when they go off to college. When I start writing my lessons or creating my presentations is something that's simple, that's easy for them to understand and take with them. And I love when they speak up or when they see me in the hallway and they remember, like, oh, miss, I did this over the summer. I remember you told me. And I'm like, yes. That's the good thing about being in Texas history. I bring a lot of it back to them. It's a lot of light bulbs going off in the classroom weekly. And that's so important that they make those connections, that they understand what it is I'm telling them and they've seen them in real life. Those are the skills that I want them to have and continue on in high school and in college.
How did I take to the news of being Teacher of the Year? I was about 6 weeks pregnant at the time when I found out. So I was extremely emotional. I am pretty sure I cried during our little staff meeting where they announced who Teacher of the Year was. Just couldn't get my words out. It's a great honor. I love my school. I love the people that I work with. I know it sounds extremely cheesy, but I swear I mean it. It really is like a family here. That's why I love coming to work every day. I love being able to talk to the people around me that I work with and, just make it better for our kids. Everybody puts so much work in. I'm not an island. I didn't do this by myself. I've had support from so many people, from my team, from the ELA department, from my principal, from my assistant principals. It's really a testament to our school. I think McAllen ISD does a wonderful job of supporting their teachers and providing the platforms for all of us to be innovative. I never worry about trying something new in my classroom because it's invaluable as a professional and as an educator to always have somebody supporting you to do better. And I think that's why McAllen ISD does so great, because they provide that support for their teachers.
I've been teaching actually for 18 years. I did 12 years in elementary and I've done 6 years in middle school. I do believe every child can learn, as long as a teacher, I'm willing to provide my time and every method that they can possibly learn in. Especially now with technology, we've used it so much this past year with the pandemic. It's really opened up other avenues to help students understand the concepts. I love teaching and I love seeing the light bulbs come on in their heads when they do get it. And then, like I said, just finding different ways for them, whether it's playing a game, whether it's, okay, let's sit down and look at some other ways to solve this. I think kids are like sponges. They can take it in if you're willing to give them the time. I strive to work so hard here at campus just to do everything to make sure my department is working the way it's supposed to, getting the support from my coworkers, my administration and everything. Knowing that they have the confidence in me, it's been great. Great. I love working here at McAllen ISD and I hope even after I get my principalship and everything that I can continue with the district, because it is really an awesome district to work for.
Anyone can learn. It just takes some of us a different pathway. I've told the kids a lot of times, you can get to your destination many different ways. My job is to find out what your route is, so that I can take you there. We're all gonna get to the end at the same time. We're just not all gonna get there through the same route. I quote Newton all the time. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. And so I tell them, everyone has different giants. You're gonna feel sometimes defeated. You're gonna feel like you can't do something, but look around you and look onto those giants and use them so that you can get to reach your goals. And so the most memorable thing I would say is when a student will tell another student, I'll be your giant, stand on my shoulders. It's amazing to hear them say that to themselves. The best thing about my job is that I get to show them what's out there and what kind of careers they can get into. I love to see them ignite that passion in them as well. That's the best part of what I do. To be named Teacher of the Year is just an honor and it's humbling. I feel like it's too good,
I've been teaching about 4 years at Possum and about 4 years at De Leon, so
total 16 years with the district. What made me really get into teaching and to actually teach math is I always had to really work hard myself for my grades. And I could relate to a lot of my friends that would always come back to me to help them with math in college. One of the professors actually said, you should look into teaching because your friends are always around you getting help and you seem to really be good at helping them. And I have never really thought about being a teacher, but that really made me think about it and completely changed my career at that time. I've been loving it since then. 16 years. My philosophy of teaching, I think, is to every day help them become successful at whatever it is they're going to have a passion for, and not just math. And I tell them, I know, yes, I teach you math, but I don't know what you're going to be in life, so you have to find a passion to whatever you want to do. I want them to understand that we care for them. I care because I want you to learn and continue being successful, whatever it is that you're going to do. That connection with them, for them to really, really understand that we care for them. To me, that's, I guess, at the end of the day, my goal.
What made me want to be an educator was when I was in high school at Nicky Rowe, I was in the Ready, Set, Teach program. So I already had a little bit of experience getting to go to Garza Elementary and De Leon Elementary and be a teacher aide with that program. And I really, really enjoyed it. After 8 years in the military, I knew right from the start that I wanted to come back and teach. Getting the chance to come back and teach with these students, with the same community I grew up in, I want to do anything I can to help build this community up, speak with our students, show them that there's nothing that stops us. There's so much of a big world out there and so much of McAllen even now growing. And it's just impacted me so much that I came back and I wanted to continue everything that teachers gave to me and pass that back on to my students. It's definitely unreal to have been chosen to be Teacher of the Year. There's no success that I have had without the collaboration and efforts of the staff that I work with. So many of us have put so much effort in making things successful with this transition of remote learning and face-to-face. It just really means a lot. I am definitely most thankful for the teacher tribe, the friends that I have made here at Travis Middle School, the support that I have had from everyone who I work with, and beyond grateful for all those things.
I love it. I have a passion for teaching. And to me, my teaching philosophy is that I have to be happy where I am. I love being a teacher and I love interacting with all of my students. I love to build their personality and develop in them the philosophy of the loving and learning. It's so important because you need to build relationships. You need to build connections with your students. I remember a quote that said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Because you get the best from them. You listen to them. They're happy and they do their best once they feel comfortable. I love teaching for McAllen ISD. This is a district that really cares for her teachers and for their staff. It's so true what they say about McAllen ISD that once a child walks through the McAllen ISD doors, they encounter precisely the world that we all will want for our own children. When I see their eyes, when I see their minds, when I can feel the joy of learning a concept, that is the most rewarding experience for me.
My philosophy in teaching, it's very with the IB model, which is what I really like in that it's really based on the student and it's student-led. So it makes it more interesting, not just for the teacher, but for the student themselves. We're all on this journey together. We're all learning together. When you impact a student, you impact them in different ways. The days that I tone it down, the days that I make it more about not just the content that we're discussing, but discussing what they're doing, how they're doing, I think that's been really important. I just want to know what they're doing. I want to know how they're doing. I do assign going outside for an hour. You know, those things that may seem simple, but are very, very important, especially during this time. That is one of my big things for me to make sure that my kids are okay. We can still meet deadlines, but we can still do self-checks. Seriously, I am nothing without them.
I remember one young man who was in one of my physical education classes, and we went to the weight room. and he had never been in the weight room before. And so I started at the beginning with all students, whether they've had experience or not. And we just started with different lifts, and I helped him out with a little program. And I saw him years later, and he came up to me, and he was this buff guy, and he said, "Because of you, I love going to the weight room, and I love being physically active." And I'm like, "What? It worked. Come on." So I can see that he really, took to heart what we were teaching and what we tried to teach him. When I see my students and I see how well they're doing, that's a rewarding thing. It's a nice thing, and I'm so happy and happy for them that they're progressing and moving on and being successful. I'm very proud to be a teacher from MISD and to say I work at McAllen High School, because we do some great things in this district.
My philosophy on teaching, I think, is really kind of based on this idea that I have, right? That teaching is one of the purest forms of love. When you're a baby, your parents teach you, right? They teach you how to speak, they teach you how to walk, they teach you how to eat, because they love you and they want to see you be successful. They want to see you do great things. I have a huge love for the students that I work with. A lot of times when I see them, I see myself as a high school student way back in the day. And I was blessed to have so many teachers, right, who expressed their love for me and who supported me and did everything they could to make sure that I was successful. And so I think I carry that with me, right? This idea that, because I love my community so much, because I love being from this area, and because I want to see it grow and prosper, and I want to see these young people grow and prosper, for me, it's just an act of love. And I really pour myself into it because I want to have that impact on them, right? Where they feel nurtured, they feel safe, they feel good being here in the classroom, and they want to do great things, right? So I think that's pretty much what it is. I feel super honored to be working for McAllen ISD. I feel super honored to be included with so many other teachers from around the district who are also Teacher of the Year. I'm happy to be, a part of this. So thank you guys so much.
There's so many kids that have gone through all my years of teaching, but there was one child in particular. He lived in our district, so he would come to our school. I had him for one semester. I did not know he was a foster child. I realized every morning I would say hi to him. It was my routine, and he would be here very early. We would talk about what he wanted to do. We would talk about what he did last night, his sports. The day that he withdrew from our school, he came to me and said, "Thank you. Thank you for being there and talking to me." I think that was the most memorable. The material can be taught by books, by videos, by everything nowadays. You don't need a teacher to teach the material, but you need a human being to touch your heart. Because of that and many other things, McAllen is #1, best district. It's an honor to be recognized Teacher of the Year for my school.
Thank you for joining us for this special spotlight on our amazing teachers. Now stay tuned. In just a moment, we'll have the grand reveal of our District Teachers of the Year for elementary and secondary.